Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. We're going to, of course, wait a few minutes, give people a chance to get in here. Hopefully, everybody's having a good week thus far, since we are now into hump day, as it were. All right, I'm going to go off camera here for a quick moment. I'll be right back, but while I'm gone, I'll put some. All right, there we are. Put it back now. All right, so let's see now. Where are we? All right, so let's see. We're almost 5 minutes in. So, anyways, why don't we go over? Then I'll just mention what's on tap for tonight. So, we're gonna go over 5 stories from Bounding into Comics, stories that been happening over the last couple of days, including Amazon's delisting an anime for some reason. Um, let's see. There's some news about Toei Animation. Um, so look at that. Let's see. IDW Publishing reports major losses. So we'll get into that. Also, let's see. Those are three of the five. Um, Also been revealed recently that I guess Tom King is part of the writing staff for some of the works for James Gunn's DC slate. Um, and let's see, the fifth story is also we got some other news in regards to to the current Lazarus planet going on. So with um, all that we're going to go ahead and get started. As always, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people here. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment or ask questions. I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started then? So, all right. So, here we go with the first story here of the night. And of course, don't forget later on we'll have the wrestling roundup and then this day's history as well. So there's a couple of pretty attractive young ladies right there, huh? Uh, Amazon delists, in smaller quotes, Another World survival series, min maxing my support in summoning magic, on smaller quote, for allegedly violating Kindle content guidelines. Wow. Okay. Um, Article by Nerdigan published this past Monday. So, so let's go ahead and see what we got here. So, as Amazon's war on Japanese content continues to march forward, the corporation has now set its sights on the American light novel and manga publisher Hanashi Media. The title of this particular series is Another World Survival, Mini Maxing My Support in Summoning Magic. Authored by Yokotsuka Tsukasa, illustrated by Manyako. Oh, let's see what's going on here. In recent years, Amazon has been removing a variety of Japanese content, including light novels, manga, and figurines, that they deem "quote unquote" inappropriate. A label which has now been applied to the corporation's latest victim, the light novel series Another World Survival, min maxing my support, and something magic. Now, yeah, the thing is, over the last few years here, last 5, 10 years or so, it seems like a lot of people in the West have, you know, a lot of these Western corporations try to impose their own moral will on the Japanese culture, and you know, Japanese sensibilities are different from the West, um, and should still be respected, even if you don't necessarily agree with them. Let's see what else is being said here. Written by Tsukasa Yokotsuka, um, with illustrations by Manyako, the series follows Kazuhisa Kaya, a young man who finds his plan to get revenge on his bullies derailed after he finds himself isekai'd into an RPG-like world full of monsters. Basically an isekai is a type of anime in which you get transported to another world, usually an RPG type world, something like Sword Art Online or Dot Hack Shine or a few others. We know of a few isekai situations like that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Um, there's a couple ones with let's see that time is it okay to pick up girls in a dungeon? I think is another one. So, anyways, finding himself in a strange new world, Kasuhisa's role have now, well, I think has, I think there's some typos here, has now shifted to survival. However, much to his surprise, he isn't the only one caught up in the chaos. On January 22nd, so that was a week ago this past Sunday, I believe, Hanashi Media received a notice from Amazon's content review team informing them that the first volume of Another World Survival, min-maxing my support and summoning magic, had allegedly violated Amazon Kindle's content guidelines. So Kindle's another one of those sites that I guess you can use to purchase stuff off of. Quote, during our review process, we found that your book, Another World Survival, Mini Maxing My Support and Summoning Magic Volume 1, violates our content guidelines, unquote, ruled Amazon. As seen in the below communications, exclusively shared with Bounding into Comics by Hanashi Media, quote, as a result, we are no longer offering your book for sale on Amazon, unquote. Quote, as a reminder, violations of our content guidelines may negatively impact your account status, unquote. They added, quote, and you may also lose access to your optimal KDP services, unquote. Okay, the only way to stop these people from doing this kind of thing, from censoring you, is to find sites or even go as far as to create sites that you can publish on. So in the comics, I know Fund My Comic has recently come along to help those who are having similar issues with like Indiegogo and Kickstarter, in terms of censorship issues. Um, and then I guess here's the yeah, but thus far, anyways, we don't know here how they violated the content guidelines. But I guess we'll find that out soon enough here. Um, and as a reminder, of course, you can like and share the stream if you haven't already. See if we can get some more friendly people in here. Also, um, if you can also, if anything here grabs your attention that you want to comment on or ask about, feel free to comment or ask questions. I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Let's see. Though the publisher attempted to appeal the decision, immediately after receiving it, Hanashi Media would ultimately and definitively have their work rejected from the digital marketplace on January 24th, which would have been a week ago yesterday, ostensibly for violating Amazon Kindle's quote-unquote offensive content guidelines. Now, what again? What offensive? And this obviously is something that was probably geared more towards adults. So, what exactly did they find offensive about it? But, anyways, let's continue reading here. Quote: we've confirmed that Another World Survival, min-maxing my support and summoning magic, Volume 1 contains content that is in violation of our guidelines, and we will not be offering this title for sale on Amazon, unquote. The company explained. Now, my recommendation, of course, as I said to for Hanashi Media, is they go out and find like Fund My Comic. I think would definitely be would definitely be willing to host their content. I'm pretty sure, even though Fund My Comic is more for comics, but I'm sure since this is a manga, we're manga or light novel we're talking about, they might still be willing to do it. Anyways, quote, as stated in our guidelines, we reserve the right to determine what's appropriate, which includes cover images and content within the book, unquote. Amazon continued, quote, if you wish to republish your book with content that meets our guidelines, it will need to be submitted as an entirely new book and go through our standard review process. Previous customer reviews, tags, and sales rank information are not transferable because the title will be essentially a different product. Mm-hmm. Again, the only way to stop this kind of thing from happening is to start up your own site. Either find another site that doesn't do this kind of garbage, or create your own site to counter it. Instead of rectifying the situation, Amazon would instead decide to escalate the dispute, with Hanashi Media being informed on January 25th, which would be 1 week ago today, that not only were the publisher's pre-orders for Volume 2 due out January 31st, which was yesterday, canceled, but they had also been barred from offering any pre-orders for a period of 1 year. Yeah, it sounds like a good time for Hanashi to maybe find another platform then to sell their book. And again, I would recommend to Hanashi try Fund My Comic. Oh, we have a fourth person. Glad to see we got some more people in here. And if you can remember to like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciate it. And if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment or ask questions. I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, continuing on here, quote, the pre-order for your book, Another World Survival, has been canceled because your pre-order content did not meet our guidelines to publish books on KDP. Unquote. They stated, quote, you have also lost 1 year access as a result, unquote. In response, Hanashi Media took to Twitter on January 26th to regretfully inform their customers, quote, about the cancellation of the pre-sale on Amazon of the second volume of Another World Survival, min-maxing my support and summoning magic series, as well as the temporary delisting of the first volume due to censorship movement. So, on January 23rd, 2023, we received from Amazon a notice of removal of Volume 1 for the series for allegedly violating the platform's content guidelines. Now, through all of this, we still haven't found out what the violations actually were. They're just simply saying that they're violating guidelines. Okay, what guidelines? What exactly did they violate? That's a big question here, which we appealed and definitively rejected, giving us the only option to modify the manuscript to adapt it to the non-offensive content policies and resubmit it as a new product. Unquote. Publisher detail. Quote, therefore, we will lose the sales and review history that everyone kindly wrote for us. Unquote. Hmm. Yeah, they should just consider finding another platform. Quote, furthermore, yesterday, January 25th, 2023, we received a new notification, unquote, wrote Hanashi Media. Um, this time about a unilateral cancellation of the pre-sale of the second volume, resulting in more than um, 500 customers losing access to the product to the less than a week before delivery. Unquote. Quote, the reported reason, non-compliance with content policies, notwithstanding the fact that no version of the manuscript has been submitted and the original delivery period set for January 27th has not expired. Unquote. They revealed, quote, therefore, we have also been banned from making new pre-sales on the platform for a period of 1 year. Does not affect the Fruit of Evolution Volume 3. But we understand the situation may cause inconvenience for readers who have pre-ordered the Another World Survival Volume 2. We deeply apologize for this, and we assure you that we will do our best to find a solution, said Hanashi Media. Quote, we are exploring all possible options to ensure that the second volume can still be published. We will keep you updated as the situation develops. Unquote. Including their statement, the publisher assured their audience, quote, we value our readers and appreciate your continued support. We hope to have Another World Survival back on Amazon soon. And thank you for your patience and understanding. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us with any questions or concerns you may have. We are here to support you, and we will continue to do everything in our power to ensure that our readers have access to the literature they love. Unquote. Yeah. So, and I would argue, okay, one, sell it on your own website. That might help a little bit. Also, try to find another outlet. If Amazon's gonna be a jerk about this, find another avenue, find another site to promote your book, um I fund my comic. I think would do it. It depends upon how they feel about doing manga, but that's something I would probably suggest you do. Anyways, the good news for said readers is that Another World Survival Volume 2 will be available to purchase from other retailers, including Apple Books, Barnes& and Noble, and Kobo. Okay, so there you go. However, according to a January 27th tweet from Hanashi Media, it appears their dispute with Amazon has resulted in the volume's release date being pushed back roughly 2 weeks. Quote, we regret to inform you that due to Amazon's content policies, we are forced to postpone the release of Another World Survival Volume 2 to February 14th. Oh, Valentine's Day. Wrote the publisher. Quote, the good news is, if you didn't have anyone for February 14th, now you can spend it in the company of a good novel. Okay? I'm gonna try to. Yeah, but that's kind of messed. That is kind of messed up, though. Oh, hey, devil. Hey, guys. Look at that. Yeah, that was pretty snotty rejection letter. Uh huh. Hey, Mike. It would. Hey, Rex. Yeah. So basically, Amazon corporate ding dongs at Amazon are now trying to delist another publisher. I may try to send them some information about Fund My Comic to see if they want to try to, even though it looks like they do have some other options other than Amazon with Barnes and Noble, Apple, and some other options. So that's good. I'll pass on my comics, a few other sites as well. All right. So with that, yeah, with that, get ready to move on to the next article then. Let's see. So we just read that. Okay, so move on to the next one here. Next article here. Hope you guys are enjoying the articles thus far. All right, Toei Animation throws support behind the incorrect belief that One Piece heroine Yamato is a transgender man. Article by Nerdigans Inc. published yesterday. From Fishman to the LGBTQ. Ever since it set sail in 1999, Eiichiro Oda's One Piece has regularly featured some of the most naturally diverse cast members in the history of both manga and anime. But what they're talking about, of course, in the LGBTQ community is the Von and the new commas, as it were. You got in the scene there, you got Mr. One there over in the upper left hand corner. I don't remember these characters, of course, from the Marineford arc. You got Ivan Top with a big face and smile right there. Got the Fishman Jinbei, the bottom right hand screen corner, and Crocodile in the bottom left hand screen corner with Luffy. Anyway, uh, but despite the series' wide range of characters, each with backstories, appearances, and personalities different from the last, trans activists have made a battleground out of the identity of the recently introduced daughter of Emperor Kaido, Yamato. According to them, because the Yamato, because the Yamato, okay, I think because Yamato, not the Yamato, is a tomboy who uses male pronouns, a habit born from both being abusively raised as a boy by her father in order to fulfill his desire for a son and wishing to follow in the footsteps of her hero Kozuki Oden, she must be a transgender man. So, yeah, not the fact that the parent here is actually trying to force this. We've seen this in the real world too, as some of you have heard about the whole baby James situation. Um, Unsurprisingly, they also considered any dissenting opinion as outright transphobic, of course. further fuel was added to this debate when, in a January 27th tweet, which is last Friday, promoting Yamato's fight against her father um, in episode 1049 of the One Piece anime, the English Toei Animation Twitter account referred to the aspiring Straw Hat member with masculine pronouns. Quote, Yamato rages against his father to free Wano, unquote, wrote the studio. Quote, catch the latest episode of One Piece streaming now on Crunchyroll. Wonder if maybe Toei's doing this to appease the West, appease some of the like Crunchyroll people and all that, which they shouldn't. The Japanese should not feel like they should have to submit or be forced to follow another country's or another society's moral compass. However, contrary to Toei Animation's tweet, there is overwhelming evidence to prove that Yamato is, in fact, a cisgender woman. Now, for those of you who don't, basically just means a traditional woman. Okay. Upon first being introduced at the end of chapter 94 of the One Piece manga, though she claims that she has chosen quote unquote to be a man, Yamato is introduced by a text box as quote unquote Kaido's daughter. Notably, Yamato's gender declaration is regularly cited by activists as evidence that the brave warrior is a transgender man. However, as detailed by Twitter user at Knox D. Roz, um, the read is yet another case of Western readers taking the Japanese language too literally. So, quote, the quote, in smaller quotes, I choose to be a man, unsmaller quote, is not meant to be taken literally, but rather as, in smaller quotes, I choose to become Odin, who happens to be a man, unquote. He wrote in September 2021, quote, the difference is pretty big, and as far as I know, nowhere does Yamato state in Japanese that she wants to become a man in general. Unquote. So, based on that quote right there, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. What that's meant to be. So Yamato doesn't necessarily want to like be a man per se, or or she doesn't want to go through do a sex change operation. She doesn't want to have genitalia, surgically attached to your, what, or anything like that. I think what they're saying is that for certain circumstances, she needs to act more like what you would think a man would act like. She, she needs to take, she basically, her character needs to take on certain characteristics, like maybe being more assertive, where women are traditionally considered more passive. Doesn't mean that all women are passive or anything like that. Just generally speaking, women tend to be a little more passive, a little more nurturing. And men tend to be a little more forceful, a little more assertive. I think what he's talking about here is, or what he's pointing out here, is that the intent of the language is more that Yamato needs to take on more male characteristics, not that she literally wants to become a man, okay, or even in general act like a man. She just needs to take on certain characteristics or more of those characteristics that were traditionally more, more shown towards men. you know, and women. That's I think the thing right there. Anyways, getting after this, back to the article here. Further, as translated by at Knox D. Roz, the Oda approved character profile featured on Oda approved, which means that this is a profile that was approved by the series creator Ichiro Oda, mind you. Featured on Yamato's official collectible Beaver card, in smaller quotes here, confirms that the 28-year-old Kanabo club wielder is in fact a woman. And then I think not the important information on Yamato's Beaver card: name in Japanese script Yamato, gender female, birthday November 3rd, age 28, 263 centimeters, Haki Busho. Okay, so basically, so even the creator is basically sitting there saying that yeah, she's a woman. Providing more context to the information at Nazi Rocks um, explained, quote, if Yamato were meant to be seen as a man, the card would state they, quote, chose to become a man, but it doesn't. Plus, the original has the original has no gendered pronouns aside from in small quotes boku, but that can also be used by girls. I think they're pointing out Bokudo. Anyway, then there's the in smaller quotes essence entry featured on the back of the Beaver card, which is seen in a translation provided by Twitter user at Jimmy Space 123, consistently refers to Yamato with no pronouns. So, quote, daughter of one of the Yonko Kaido Yonko Kaido, Yamato proclaimed herself in smaller quotes Kozuki Odin after being moved by the manner in which he died. Unquote. Reads the entry, quote, since then she has spent many years confined in the walls of Wano by her father, who wants her to remain in the country. Unquote. So she took on the name of a male warrior because he had certain characteristics that she liked that she wanted to adopt herself. Does not that does not mean that she wants to become a man. Quote, Odin's log that she coincidentally got in her hands on in Curie and the promise she made after bonding with Ace are her guiding principles, unquote. It concludes, quote, throwing in with Luffy and others seeking to open Wano, the unleashed Oni princess bears her fangs. Oni is another word for demon, I believe. Then there's the fact that the Oni princess has been featured in a number of female-specific figure lines, including Bandai's Glitter of Ha, Bon Presto's Grand Line Lady, and Ichiban Kuji's One Piece Girls collection. Yamato was even featured in a February 2021 smaller quote One Piece Heroines unsmaller quote color spread illustrated for Weekly Shonen Jump by a number of artists from its sister shoujo magazine, uh, Reborn. The spread was produced to commemorate the publication of One Piece's 1,000th chapter. So you see, she's there. Obviously, among the ones I can recognize, there's Boa Hancock, Nami's in there. The one in the middle might be Nico Robin. Um, Levy, I think, next to Nico Robin. Um, I don't remember her name, but the ghost girl there. So, among many others, and Yamato, a couple of stages over to the left of screen left of Boa Hancock. Toei's use of male pronouns is also quite the contradiction to their tweet from November 3rd, 2022, in which they explicitly wished a happy birthday to the quote unquote princess. Now, mind you, this could be a case where they slipped up and they just kind of, maybe they slipped up, or this could be a case that okay, we're getting flack for this, so maybe we just relent a little bit here. I don't know, couldn't tell you. Um, but again, it's a case of Western corporations and Western twidiots trying to impose their moral compass on another society. If we in America tried to do something like that, they'd skewer us for it. But yet for them, it's so. But for actually, that is exactly what's happening. So it wouldn't, But anyways, never mind. I think I goofed there with that saying. But anyways, all right. So here we go. Oh, never mind. I was going to do that one, but then I just saw who wrote that article, and I'm not going to do that article after all. Anyways, was going to do that one, but I see. No, I'm not going to do it. Real. So I guess we're just going with four then. Um, all right. So skipping on to the next article then. All right. So, anyways, James Gunn's DCU slate features Tom King as one of the chief architects, a massive red flag for any DC fan. All right. Article by John F. Trent published yesterday. DC Studio CEO James Gunn recently released his plans for the future of the DCU and revealed that DC writer Tom King was one of the chief architects behind the slate. While detailing an upcoming Supergirl-focused film titled Supergirl: The Wonder of Tomorrow, Gunn relayed to DC.com, Quote, this is based on Tom King and Bilkis Evely's wonderful comic. Tom has been of the architects of. Okay, I think they forgot to put in the word one. One of the architects of this entire situation. Unquote. Gunn elaborated. Quote, he's been one of the guys in the room with us, along with four or five other others. Okay, some typos here, obviously. I love his take on these characters. He just turns them slightly to be something very unique. Legs seem a little thicker than what is considered traditional. Its description by Gunn concerning King's work should concern fans of DC, given King's track record at DC wasn't slightly turning the characters, but was completely butchering them and turning them into self-reflections of himself. I guess maybe that's where the thicker legs come from, trying to project more of a masculine aspect to her or whatever. Um, anyways, Gunn provides the example himself, explaining what the new Supergirl film will be about. Quote, in our story, we have Superman who was sent to Earth and raised by incredibly loving parents. Kara was on Krypton. She was on a piece of Krypton and drifted away from the planet, and she lived there for the first 14 years of her life in a horrible situation where she watched everyone around her die. So she's a much harsher and more bleaked up Supergirl than you've been used to thus far. Anyone who knows Supergirl knows this is not a description of Supergirl or her origin story. Yeah, for those of you who may not remember, Supergirl originally, okay, so yeah, as generally speaking, she was sent to Earth at the same time Kal El does. Her rocket just took longer to get to Earth. Therefore, and she actually slowly aged. So when she made it to Earth, she was already kind of a teenager, whereas Clark was a baby. But the large part, you know, her rocket I think took a little longer to get to Earth than, uh, or she may have been sent off as a teenager. This isn't the only example. King has an entire assassination list of DC characters he's wrecked so much so that he was pulled off Batman. In one instance, even Adam Skyver lampooned King for his depiction of Batman as a scared child needing to be consoled by Gotham Girl. Oh boy. Yep. That I don't think a lot of Batman fans would take too kindly to. He wrote on Twitter, quote, I think going to throw up. Hey, mentally ill writers, not every character you're writing is you. Oh boy. That's a nice one, Ethan. Nice one. I think he just outright called Tom King a beta male right there with that comment. In the next issue of Tom King Beta Male, he cries and even then Skyver calls him out for being a beta male. Anyway, stop projecting your own personal neuroses on the characters you didn't create, who already have enough of their own established problems. Amen, Ethan. Amen. Oh boy. As another example, King decided to not only tear apart Guy Gardner's character, but he also had him brutally killed in his The Human Target series. Yeah, that's the one where uh, they basically made Guy Gardner more into like an obsessive, abusive boyfriend towards Ice. Uh, so yeah, yeah, yep, yep. As I said, King turned Guy Gardner into an obsessive, jealous ex-lover of Ice. After attempting to abuse her, Ice freezes Gardner, and then the human target proceeds to punch him in the face, killing Gardner by shattering him into numerous pieces. Oh, ugh, he's gruesome, isn't he? Story didn't just destroy Gardner's character and kill him, but it goes on to imply that both the human target and Ice have sex after they kill Gardner. Oh boy, isn't that lovely? You have to wonder who the real sickos in that one are. You just killed somebody, and then you feel like you gotta go get it on. Okay. Hey RJ, like, hey, see what you got here. King even stole the one punch line from Justice League Europe when Batman took out Guy with one punch, to which a stunned Black Canary went one punch for several panels. Yep. I guess King is a king of fools, wouldn't you say, RJ? Yeah, this article is talking about how James Gunn's apparently having Tom King as part of the creative process for some upcoming DC movies. And thank you for the like and share, of course. If we can get some more people in here, that'd be appreciated. Also, feel free to comment or ask questions. I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Let's see now. Let's see. To make matters worse, not only does King come with extensive baggage when it comes to bad storytelling and narratives, he also comes with morally reprehensible behavior, something Gunn claims he would have to take into account if it came to his attention. Gunn specifically told the Hollywood Reporter, quote, I can't be changing my plans all the time because an actor says something that I don't agree with. At the same token, someone is doing something that is morally reprehensible. That's a different story, and we have to take that into account. It's unclear if Gunn knows about King's morally reprehensible behavior, but King went out of his way to attack then DC artist Jai Lee because he happened to create a variant cover for Ethan Van Sciver's Cyber Frog. Yeah, I remember that. I mean, he even went off on him as Lee and his girlfriend were carrying their pet. Yeah, this guy King he's king of fools. He's the king of rear ends, king of rear ends, as it were. Uh, King wrote, "quote Today DC put out an alternate cover to Rorschach by Jai Lee, who has also done covers for Comicsgate, a hate group. DC does not consult creators on alternate covers. I reached out to them to express my deep disappointment. As far as I'm concerned, this is a cover this is the cover to Rorschach #1. While DC did indeed reveal Lee's cover on July 24th, the fact that he was doing a variant cover for Rorschach #1 had been previously announced on July 15th. King's tweet showed that he has a penchant for lying and went out of his way to try and cancel Jai Lee for his own false assumptions about him and those of comic books. His actions were and are clearly morally reprehensible. This isn't the only case of King being embroiled in scandal. He claimed back in August 2021 that he got a guest removed from AwesomeCon because they were not wearing a mask. Yeah, I remember that one too. I remember that story too. I think we did cover that story as well. Um, King wrote, quote, love seeing people at cons, but yesterday we had a Rorschach cosplayer who took his mask off at our table. You think I swear a lot in comics, you should see me in person. Unquote. Quote. After an impolite talking to, Rorschach was escorted from the con. Unquote. King added, quote, wear your mask, we're not sleeping around. Yeah, that's a way to really, I guess Tom King must have been reading that book, Making Friends and Influencing People. That's of course a joke, a smart aleck joke, as it were. King of Rear End. Again, I don't like using swear words too much, but you guys figure out when I say rear end what I'm really saying. But again, I just won't, sit there and utilize such language. We're already up to there. We've been doing quite a bit of commentary today, so good. However, King's story would change a day later when he tried to clarify his initial tweet. Quote, there seems to be some confusion about a mask thing at a con. Mitch and I were signing at our booth at AwesomeCon, which has a strict mask mandate in compliance with Washington, D.C.'s indoor mask mandate. Thousands of people there all wearing masks, unquote. But we spotted a dude in a Rorschach jacket not wearing a mask a few feet from our booth, coming our way. We noted this to the kind people helping us with our line at the con. He continued, quote, they went over and politely asked the dude to put on a mask. He ignored them and walked up to the booth, unquote. King then accused, quote, cutting the line, dude came up to us. We told him he had the mask before talking to us. He seemed confused by this, like kind of dazed or stunned. Finally, he took out a thin, I guess it's supposed to be a thin Rorschach mask, nylon stocking with ink, but didn't seem to know how to put it on. It was tangled. King would go on to weave a tale about the individual trying to figure out how to put his mask while he berated him with quote unquote some language before eventually signing two books this alleged individual handed him. Uh, he then claimed, quote, we were later informed that the kind people helping us at the con, as they are obligated to do, reported this behavior to con management, and the dude was removed for violating the con and the district policy. However, contrary to King's initial tweet amid his supposed clarification, YouTuber Perch indicated that AwesomeCon informed him that they had quote unquote no incidents and that the convention was quote unquote running smoothly. It's doubtful even if Gunn is informed of King's behavior that anything will be. It is doubtful even if Gunn is informed of King's behavior, anything will be done, especially considering that Gunn's own past behavior, should instantly disqualify him by his own standards for the position. And he certainly isn't stepping down from the position. So there we go with that. One last call for alcohol to finish her with beer. And it probably being good we skipped that one story anyways, because we will get it closer to an hour and a half. I was going over. All right, so this is the last story we're going to cover um, here. All right, so anyways, let's get on to this article here. DC editor says, quote unquote, trans man, hero, circuit breaker, is gonna, quote, is gonna be your new favorite character, unquote, after debut in Lazarus Planet, Dark Fate #1. Article by J.D. Augustine, published today. DC believes a new superhero with powers the opposite of the Flash, who's debuting on Valentine's Day, is going to be a hit. Character named Circuit Breaker is a quote unquote trans man hero coming to us from the creative team behind the upcoming Lazarus Planet Dark Fate #1, which is headlined by queer sci fi writer and artist Dale Kaplan. He provided a tease for a breaker whose true identity, most importantly to DC editorial, is the trans non-binary Jules Jourdain. His pronouns are he, they. Quote, meet Jules Jourdain, he, they, aka Circuit Breaker, unquote, Kaplan tweeted. Quote, a new hero channel the inexorable skill force energy to fend off evil, debuting in DC's Lazarus Planet, Dark Force #1, out on Valentine's Day. You read that correctly. Circuit Breaker channels the Still Force, the creation of Scott Snyder's that exists as a type of dark energy in contrast to the Speed Force that powers Barry Allen and other species. However, that is secondary to Jourdain's gender identity, as Kaplan confirms, quote, yeah, trans man, but not super into the binary, unquote. He tweeted, adding a trans flag, of course. Pushing the agenda is more important than appealing to all fans. That and making money. That's the message there. DC editor Andrea Shea responded to Kaplan's post and artwork with further hype for Jourdain's debut. Quote, Circuit Breaker is gonna be your new character. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Kaplan breathes life into Jules Jourdain's first adventure this February, in which our new hero is blessed or cursed, in parentheses there, with the dreaded still force during Lazarus Planet Dark Fate. Shea, unquote, Shea tweeted, quote unquote, quote, don't miss his debut, 214, unquote. Saying Circuit Breaker, quote, is going to be your new favorite character, unquote, indicates Shea believes in this character, and why not? When she, as it turns out, is proudly part of creating um, proudly part of creating, quote, working with at ALK Comics as he developed this amazing new character, and we plan the road ahead has been a non-stop joyride, unquote, Shea tweeted in a reply. Quote, I'll have so much more to say about it soon, but the DCU is so lucky for the brilliance and care and love that Alan built into Joel's story and world, unquote, she added. Yeah, this my guess is if they do this to again push a narrative, they'll fall flat on their face with it. Quote, new threats will rise when the Lazarus storm touches down. People, every walk of life, stand to be affected. People who are kind, people who are good, people who are evil. Reads the synopsis of Lazarus Planet. Quote, this epic issue will spotlight the disastrous villains created by the Lazarus event and the heroes who stand ready to stop them from doing harm. And you would think though with a power like as a circuit breaker, you would think he would serve more to be an arch enemy of the Flash as opposed to because if he's tapping into you would think that if circuit breaker is tapping into the skill force, which I'm guessing is a conduit of slowness, dark energy. You got the flashes who go into speed mode and go into speed force, which powers up speedsters. You would think they would actually prove to be more of a natural rival, kind of like the turtles, right? The turtle one and the turtle two. So it continues. Quote, what sinister threat brings a new chapter to the Doom Patrol saga? A new hero channel the inexorable skill force energy to fend off evil. What lurks in the corners of the spirit world for, in brackets, the new character, Zanti, and what early clue to the new direction in Arkham Tower will spell disaster for Gotham City. So there we go with that one. So we're done with the articles. As I said, we were going to read five, but one of them I found out was from somebody that I would rather not give any light to, as it were. All right. So, anyways, let's kind of take a quick peek at where we're at on time here. Hour and 10. Okay, that was had quite a bit of commentary there too. So, um, I guess it would be a good time to start talking about some wrestling news. The wrestling wrap up here. Uh, let's see. So, let me see. Um, so, of course, now Sami Zayn is on Twitter and now is fully adopting the fact that Dad's left the Bloodline faction, where now his new shirts have, instead of honorary Uso, over the Uso part, he's got his own name. Sami Zayn. So, let's see. Um, so, let's see. Is there any other? Yeah, I think there's not as much for the E news. Of course, tonight AEW Dynamite, the Dynamite program tonight. It has some interesting matches going on. Um, as I told you, and there were some others announced over the last couple of days too. We know that, of course, Darby Allin is defending the TNT Championship against Samoa Joe in a no hold barred match. Also, Brian Danielson is taking on Timothy Thatcher as he tries to continue his march towards uh, 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 he continues his march towards if he wins this week, then it's next week. He's on Timothy Thatcher to continue his march towards a shot at the AEW World Title um, MJF, who in essence put a kind of his face as instructed Timothy Thatcher try to break Brian Danielson's arm. Brian Cage dislocated his shoulder last week, and to try to keep Daniel, trying to keep from having to face Danielson at Revolution in March. Um, no hold barred match. The acclaimed will be in action tonight. You have match three in the series between John Moxley and Hangman. Now, a couple other matches that were also announced for the night, of course, Jade Cargill defends the TBS Championship against Red Velvet, seeking her 50th win to try to go 50-0, while Red Velvet looks to give Jade her first loss in AEW and also take the title off of her. Um, let's see. Also, let's see. Another match that was announced for tonight was Nosuke Takeshita taking on Brian Cage. That should promise to be a pretty interesting match. Both very good athletes there. Also, recently signed to AEW is Curtis Custody, who many of you might remember as Fandango from the WWE, or as Dirty Dango in like NWA and Impact Wrestling. He now has officially been signed to AEW and will be wrestling for them soon enough. Um, Also, in some other news, yesterday was the NWA live show, live power from Knoxville Convention Center. Among the matches that happened on the night included, of course, The Fixers defended the NWA United States Tag Team Championships against the Country Gentlemen. The Fixers are, of course, Jay Bradley and Ricky Mulligersky defending against Country Gentlemen of cousins AJ the Legacy, AJ Kazana, and uh, adorable, adorable Anthony Andrews. Country Gentlemen beat the Sixers to become the new United States Tag Team Champions and also to bring about the new belt. Uh, the other big match of the night, the Champion Series, concluded last night as coming out on top, uh, Team Rock and Roll, captained by NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Terry Morton, um, defeated Team Tyrus, captained by NWA World Heavyweight Champion Tyrus, with all seven. Oh, hey, hi, Mike, your audio is a little garbled. It is? Uh, how's it now, Doc? So how is it now, Doc? I just turned my YouTube screen on to check. Maybe it was garbled because maybe I was. Okay, yeah, you can hear me. All right, thanks for popping in, my friend. Yeah, so still a little rough. Okay, I don't know, but because I'm just, maybe I'm not being as clear, but if you can still hear me, that should be fine. Um, yeah, so I was just doing the wrestling wrap up here. Um, don't know if you knew this, Doc, but you know that they're getting Tom King to do some of the they're adapting some of Tom King stuff for some of James Gunn's work for DC Studios. Check your mic volume and settings. Well, I think my mic volume is fine. On. Yeah, I actually have my mic right behind my screen there, so there shouldn't be too many problems there. Um, because even coming from behind the screen like that shouldn't be shouldn't be really having any problems there. And I just Tom King is a hack. Tom King is a hack. Don't care for his stuff at all. Well, then I know you're gonna probably not like anything that James Gunn's coming out with because apparently he's adapting some of Tom King's stuff to the upcoming slate of DC films he's doing. I was disappointed in everything James Gunn laid out. Yep. And I think that there seems to be quite a consensus there of that, Doc. There does seem to be quite a consensus there. So yeah. Well, anyways, thanks for commenting. Um, of course, I just read that article just a moment ago. Oh, and here's another thing too. I don't know if you heard this, but you know that in the latest, I guess in one of the latest editions of Lazarus Planet, due out on the 14th, um, they're apparently going to introduce a non-binary trans man named Circuit Breaker. I was just reading that article too before you popped in. Alrighty then. So, anyways, continuing on with the wrestling wrap up, of course. Um, we were talking about. So, the members now since Team Team Rock and Roll won the Champion Series, what this means for the members of the team, not the captain, not the captain or the co-captain, but for the members of the team, means that they will all get title shots at whatever whichever titles they have. Title shots that they can cash in at any point over the next year, I believe. Um, and members of Team Rock and Roll were Chris Adonis, Jack Draper, Mims, Alex Taylor, Taya Valkyrie, La Rosa Negra, and Natty. Those seven individuals will now get um, will now have a chance for any title, any NWA title they wish to go out. It could be the world heavyweight title, national title, the world television title, tag team titles, women's title. Obviously the women going after the women's and women's tag team titles, and men going after all the other titles. So, well, the junior heavyweight, I think Alex Taylor's the only one who can go after that one. But, because the junior heavyweight is junior heavyweight limit is 225. So, and also, Kota Ibushi is now a free agent, and his contract came up, finished up yesterday with Pro Wrestling Noah or New Japan, actually New Japan. Um, so now Kota Ibushi is a free agent, so you know that there are a number of wrestling organizations that look to sign him. So that's all I got for you in the wrestling wrap up. Now, today being Wednesday, February 1st, um, Wednesday, February 1st, 2023. Let's go ahead and take a look back at this day in history. History! So, anyways, without any further ado, let's go ahead and look back at this day in each history. So first off, we're going to head back 80 years ago today. And on this date, 80 years ago today, the 85th issue of Popular Comics from Dell Comics went on sale on this date back in 1943. So back in 1943, 80 years ago today, 85th issue of Popular Comics from Dell Comics went on sale. It was sold for 10 cents and was 64 pages. So also, let's go ahead and go ahead and I would also like to extend happy birthday wishes to Nick Mitchell, uh, a retired professional American professional wrestler. Most people would remember Nick Mitchell as Nick of the Spirit Squad back in the '90s, or during the WWE. Of course, he was a part of the Spirit Squad when they were the one-time WWE World Tag Team Champion. Um, but happy 50th birthday to Nick Mitchell, who is known in the Spirit Squad as Mitch. So, not to be confused with Nikki, who was Nick Nemeth, who came to be known later as Dolph Ziggler. So, moving on to the final piece of news history, as on this date 20 years ago today, in 2003, um, B-Train's Dot Hack Sign to make its um, Cartoon Network premiere on this date. The English dub for Dot Hack Sign done out here in LA uh, would make its premiere on Cartoon Network on this date 20 years ago. Oh, there we go with that one. I thank everybody for being here. Um, don't forget this Friday, of course, I'll have RJ Carter with me um, as we are continuing our look through um, August of 1939 for the times that went on sale. This Friday, we'll be focusing in on six now publications. Jungle Comics number 10. We'll be reading, of course, Sheena, Weird Stories of Supernatural, Baby Welcome to the West, and a few others. Um, and don't forget, tomorrow night, of course, come back for more news coverage. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight, and I look forward to seeing you all back here tomorrow. So anyways, thank everybody for being here. I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow and every night. Until then, bye.